Hello, this is Attorney General Daniel Cameron. It can be difficult to understand how large the problem of human trafficking is in our country, much less our tight-knit communities here in Kentucky, but it is a horrifying reality for too many of our Commonwealth's most vulnerable citizens. It's going to take each and every one of us to put an end to this horrific industry. That's why I'm so thankful that you are taking part in this training to help spot the signs of human trafficking. The stories you are about to hear are real-life examples of those who made a difference in their communities by recognizing the signs of human trafficking. In other words, they used their eyes to save lives. For more information about our efforts to push back against human trafficking, visit youreyessavelives.ky.gov or contact us by phone at 502-696-5436 or by email at youreyessavelives@ky.gov. Again, thank you for making a difference by helping Kentuckians escape human trafficking. And remember, your eyes save lives.
Historically, in the movies, trafficking is portrayed in larger cities, but it happens in rural areas as well. It just looks a little different. We had a case here in Hazard where we had a mother who had 4 minor children, and she had a live-in boyfriend. The boyfriend homeschooled the children. So while the kids were at home, he would have the kids go into these communities and he would have them sell crafts and trinkets and things like that. And he would use the money for his own personal financial gain. The fact that the suspects in this investigation used these children for financial gain is what made this trafficking.
Human trafficking is the exploitation of people for sex or labor in exchange for anything of value. Trafficking can be a large enterprise or involve only one person. A trafficker can be a stranger or someone a victim knows. More and more, we are seeing family members exploiting their own children. In these circumstances, a parent or caregiver is often trafficking the child in exchange for drugs. Unfortunately, human trafficking is happening all across Kentucky. We see it time and time again throughout our Commonwealth. While we know most cases of human trafficking go unreported, Kentucky still receives hundreds of reports annually of human trafficking involving adults and children, and those numbers continue to rise.
Why do people engage in human trafficking? A major reason is money. Human trafficking is an extremely profitable industry. Estimates by the United Nations International Labor Organization show trafficking worldwide brings in over $150 billion in revenue annually. That's over 3 times the revenue of the 4 most profitable United States sporting leagues combined. It's important to know that someone does not have to be physically beaten, physically restrained, or even threatened with physical harm to be a victim of trafficking. A trafficked person often does not appear to be forced. Victims are lured into trafficking by false promises of romantic love or a high-paying job. Traffickers then use a variety of tactics to control their victims, including physical and sexual assault, threats of violence, debt, isolation from family and friends, withholding money or identification documents, and providing and then withholding drugs.
This case went on for 7 years and could have went on indefinitely if they had not knocked on the door of the Child Advocacy Center here in Hazard, Kentucky.
I opened the door and there were some girls standing on our porch, and they had a very shallow box of items that they were selling. And they also had a flyer of different services that them and their parents offered, which I thought was kind of odd. Pet sitting to tour guide, massage was on there as well. I mean, just that right there was a big red flag. I was so concerned that I contacted law enforcement.
There was definitely labor trafficking traits, and the case went through the court system and the suspect pled to 30 years in prison.
You would not expect human trafficking or anything like that to be happening in our neighborhood. And that's why it's so important that your eyes be open. You know, your eyes can save lives.
Your eyes can save lives. And in this particular situation, because of the community, this case had a successful ending.
This story demonstrates how it only takes one person to save a life. And if we have people throughout the Commonwealth who are familiar with the signs of human trafficking, we can save many, many more. So now I'd like to share some of the signs of labor trafficking. You may see an individual pressured by an employer to stay in a job or a situation they want to leave. Pay attention to the mannerisms of the employees. Are they withdrawn, afraid to talk, or is their communication being censored? You may notice that an individual is not in complete control over their finances. They may owe money to their employer, or the opposite. They may be owed money that was promised to them. An individual may not have control over their own identification documents. Another common sign is an individual living or working alone or cut off from outside communication. During the course of your day-to-day work, pay attention to the businesses within your community. Could any of these serve as a front for trafficking? Look at their building security. Is it used to keep people out or to keep people inside? Can customers enter on their own, or do they have to be buzzed in by a manager? Do employees appear to have freedom of movement? These are just a few of the most common signs associated with labor trafficking that you may encounter throughout the Commonwealth.
Another form of human trafficking is sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is similar to labor trafficking. Both involve coercing someone to perform services. However, sex trafficking always involves commercial sex. As with labor trafficking, sex traffickers ensnare individuals by promising to meet some unmet need. Traffickers then gain the trust of their victims and insidiously begin to exert control over them. Pay attention to the people you know or interact with for indicators of sex trafficking. You may notice situations that seem off. So here are a few signs of sex trafficking. Trafficked persons often appear uncomfortable. They may not want to be in a location, but are unable to leave because of a controlling trafficker. They may be reluctant to engage in selling sex, but someone pressured them into it. Many times, this pressure comes from a loved one, like a boyfriend, a parent, or extended family relative. Many trafficking incidents occur in industries where it may be common to be pressured into performing sex for money, such as strip clubs or massage businesses. Many times, an individual will have a pimp or a manager to keep an eye on them and make sure they are performing services. They may even refer to that person as a boyfriend, but that does not mean that they are not being trafficked. Sometimes they will be branded by a tattoo to identify that they belong to their pimp. Or they have an older or controlling romantic partner or sponsor who will not allow them to meet or speak with anyone alone. The trafficker may also monitor their movements, spending, and communication. A person may live where they work or are transported by guards between their home and workplace. Controlling home and travel conditions is a red flag when it comes to human trafficking. An adult or child may be dressed inappropriately for the weather or for their age. Children who are in an abusive family situation or whose caretakers have a substance use disorder are particularly vulnerable to trafficking. Their parent, guardian, or other trusted person may be overly controlling. Or they may be groomed by online predators, promising fame, fortune, love, or an escape from their current situation. To be clear, any commercial sex involving a minor is automatically considered human trafficking. Fraud, force, or coercion do not have to be present. Traffickers are brazen. They are counting on people not recognizing the signs of human trafficking or not reporting them.
On August 16th, Kentucky State Police Post 10 responded to a call involving a man attempting to sell a child.
Kentucky State Police Post 10 received a call from a concerned citizen. The caller on the complaint said that the male subject with the child appeared to be intoxicated. He said that he appeared to be an addict. He said the woman with him also appeared to be an addict. The male subject said something along the lines of he would like to get $2,500 for a child that he was with. The caller also made mention that they'd seen a police officer pull into the parking lot, and they thought it suspicious how quick the vehicle left the gas station. It raised enough of an alarm for the concerned citizen to contact Kentucky State Police Post 10 with what he saw.
Witnesses at the gas station called police with a description of the person who would later be identified as Harry Day. Day arrived at the home and was taken into custody for human trafficking charges.
Without the person calling and reporting, there's no way for me to know what's going on. Ultimately, without them, we might not have found this kid this night.
Your eyes can save lives. You can notice when something's off. You can notice that child that needs help. You can notice what's going on in your community that's not normal. There's nothing wrong with being concerned, notifying law enforcement. When you can call us and we can help, whatever that situation may be.
We can't do this alone. It's going to take each one of us remaining vigilant to take care of the most vulnerable in our communities. Our office has committed from day one to fight back against this scourge, and with the help of Kentuckians like you, I believe that we can make a difference in the lives of our most vulnerable. Thank you for joining our fight to end human trafficking by viewing this training. And remember, your eyes save lives.